Welcome to another episode of Kitchen Sink Dharma. Now recently I held a newborn baby as he slept in my arms, and it really struck me that there's something incredible about babies, the way that they're so helpless and yet they're so powerful. They have this kind of direct line into your heart and they can open it right up. They really melt you. And they do it all without any words, without even trying. They don't even know they're doing it. And I know there's explanations for this, there's evolutionary explanations for this. I don't even feel like going there today. I just want to stay with the mystery, just for a moment, just the sheer wonder of it all. And most of us form deep emotional bonds with other beings. We're really not built to exist alone. We're not built to be emotionally isolated. We have this boundless capacity for love and connection. And we breathe together, we resonate together, our hearts beat together, and we attune with others. We pick up what they're feeling, we decode what they're saying and how they're saying it. It's incredible how we can do this. We just interpret the most subtle of facial expressions, especially in people that are close to us. We can read their inner states, and we care about their happiness. Sometimes we get the sudden urge to call someone without knowing why. And it's one of the most beautiful things about being alive. It's way better than money or fame or power or anything like that. Today isn't really about exploring why that is the case. It's really just simply about remembering the extent to which we belong with each other. Remembering how it feels to be connected. So there's an author called Dan Siegel, and he writes this: attuning to others, we open ourselves to the profound adventure of linking two as part of one interactive whole. This joining is an intimate communion of the essence of who we are as individuals, yet truly interconnected with one another. It is hard to put into words, but resonance reveals the deep reality that we're part of a larger whole, that we need one another, and in some ways that we are created by the ongoing dance within, between, and among us. Dan Siegel has a lot to say about attunement and resonance, and I recommend you look him up if you're interested in this. And of course we can attune with others in very many different ways. And when we talk about resonance, that's just simply a way of describing mutual attunement, just the attunement between two or more people. Resonance has the capacity to touch us. It can nurture us. It can really make us feel whole without threatening our individuality. It doesn't threaten our identity in any way. And we need it. It's a basic human need to be seen and to be heard and to be touched, to be known, and to be cared for and to care for others. And we forget sometimes, we deny it sometimes. And other people, even people that were close to us, people we love, can tire us out, they can irritate us, they can fail to hear us. And as humans, we can sometimes express our needs in really harmful and self-destructive ways. But underneath all that, underneath all of it, there's still that need. And the need itself is still completely wholesome, that pull to connection. It's like a plant turning its leaves to the light. And the desire to connect is absolutely fundamental. And we've evolved to be exquisitely attuned to others. And belonging and being accepted really motivates a lot of what we do. Because loneliness is painful. And if we don't have a sense of belonging, it can feel acutely uncomfortable. And the teacher Tara Brach wrote, "Our deepest suffering comes from feelings of separation, and as a species, our great task is realizing our belonging to our bodies and hearts, to each other, to the living web of all beings." And I agree with this, and I think for me anyway, this has to begin with ourselves. It has to start with belonging to ourselves. It starts with the body. We can attune with ourselves by listening to our own bodies, by sensing into our own internal world. And if you want to know what's true and what's important, you can start with the body. The answer lies in the body. If you're looking for a reference point, a starting place. You don't have to look any further than that. So first we connect with ourselves. We have to be present with ourselves to be truly present with someone else. And when I say connecting with ourselves, I'm not really talking about identifying just with a stream of thoughts and judgments and reactions that happen in the mind. I mean we connect with the body, resting our attention on the sensations in the muscles, on the surface of the skin, the heart, the stomach, the intestines, the arms and the legs, the breath, just the energy moving around the body. When we mindfully attune to the body, it brings us right into the present moment. And this is our gateway, this is our portal, if you like, to attuning with others. And it's also our gateway to knowing and resting in the confidence that we belong here. Now I know that for a lot of people, life experience makes it quite hard to feel this. It's not unusual to react to the things that have happened in our lives by disconnecting from the body or parts of the body. And this is a common way of reacting to trauma, for example, to shut off part of the body, to close it down, to withdraw. And even on a mundane day-to-day level, even if we're not talking about trauma, we're still constantly contracting and flinching and turning away from what we feel. And there's been times in my life when I've done this a lot, and times when I've had to fight the urge to be invisible, or to disappear, especially when I felt completely out of place. It's that feeling it's not really my world, what am I doing here? But for me, the practice of coming back to the body, resting the attention in the body, actually counteracts that feeling. It tells me, this is my world and I belong here. This is my home. And sometimes we're motivated by this mistaken belief that we don't quite belong enough, that we need to belong more. And that intense desire to belong can actually lead us to try and make ourselves more acceptable to others, even to try and hide who we really are in case it's not good enough. And we can even end up not knowing who we really are. And there's no need at all for any of that. We don't have to do it. Because the truth is that we belong already. We don't have to define ourselves by anything external, by our possessions or our job title or the impression that we make on other people. We don't have to pretend that we're something that we're not. We don't have to align ourselves to a set of values that isn't our own. We just have to show up as ourselves and recognize our own basic goodness, our own natural capacity to care and connect. We sometimes talk about it in terms of our Buddha nature, if you like. It's our own basic goodness. Now, when I was a teenager, I would often pretend not to care. And as I get older, I'm starting to see care and connection as the stuff that really matters. It's perhaps the only thing that really matters. Because we're relational beings. We belong in community. It's our thing. It's what makes us human. So what else is there really that matters apart from caring and being cared for? And in acts of care, the idea of a completely separate self begins to dissolve. And we move beyond seeing everything in terms of likes and dislikes. So it's like when you hold a newborn baby or you sit with somebody who's dying, the ego starts to subside a bit. It calms down, the heart opens up, and we feel it. We feel how deeply connected we are. We don't just know it, we actually feel it in our bodies. And there's a quote from James Baldwin. He said, "Perhaps home is not a place, but simply an irrevocable condition." Simply an irrevocable condition. I think that expresses something very profound. If you think about it, home is a constant, a state of being that can't be revoked, something that can't be taken away. Maybe we could even think of home as a verb, an action rather than a noun. Maybe we could think of belonging as a practice. And I'm talking about really belonging rather than just fitting in, rather than just making ourselves acceptable. Actually belonging. Starting with belonging to ourselves and then turning outwards. Looking at how we belong with other people. Learning to trust in our belonging wherever we are. learning to trust that the people around us also belong. They belong too, even if we don't fully understand them, even if they scare us sometimes. So we belong everywhere we go. Doesn't always feel like it, but we do. We belong everywhere we go. We belong with everyone and everything we're with. And we might forget sometimes, but we always, always belong. So that's it. It's a slightly shorter talk this week. Thank you for listening. Hope you can join me again soon on Kitchen Sink Dharma.